but because she went the DIY way, she ended up getting caught. Well, let's move on to chapter 2. These are the drivers of satisfaction. So it's all about trust, reassurance, and peace of mind, making people feel at ease. Now, it's complicated somewhat for prospective migrants because trustworthiness is hard to spot in a foreign country, particularly if you don't speak the same language or come from the same culture. So therefore, people look for markers of trust. But ultimately, people told us that when you meet your agent, you know he or she is the one. As one person said, at a certain point, you just have to trust this person. That a lot of the initial shopping for an agent really is about getting signals that you can trust someone, because as a migrant, you can't know for sure that this person is absolutely qualified to help you. All you can do is look for signs that reassure you about their competency. Of course, one of the things that clients do by using the website is they will check the information that agents provide and see if it coincides with their understanding of the information on the website. This person said, the way people answer questions is a way of determining whether or not they're qualified. I was looking at the DIAC website every day, so if he had tried to say something that was not completely okay, I would have picked it up. I myself was an expert. This is what you do when you're moving to this country. You look at websites all the time. Well, one of the most reassuring things that you as agents can communicate to your clients is your relevant experience. And not just experience in general, but experience with the clients that you're going to be serving. They could be students, they could be members of a particular profession or occupational class, or they could be members of your own ethnic or linguistic community. Although we will have something to say about that towards the end. For this person, the fact that her sister had hired the same agent was enough qualification for her. She said, well, my sister got hers, so that was enough qualifications for me. And then this person said that if he was an agent, I would start doing placements before I started working on my own. Then, when I started on my own, I could say, I've done visas for people from China. I've done cookery students, whatever it was. And in that context, he was talking about whether or not there was practical work experience that was a part of the training of RMAs. Experience in the job is valued over qualifications. This person said, if he knows how to do it, if he's got experience doing it, then that's okay. I just assume he has the qualifications. And when you began to probe whether people understood what the qualifications were to become an RMA, frequently they have very little idea. What they really want to know about is your experience. There was some disappointment expressed when people in the groups learned that there wasn't a practical work experience component as part of the training of registered migration agents as yet. They really felt that you needed to work with someone else first before setting out on your own. This person said, do they have to work with a senior agent before they can be licensed? As a teacher, we have to do placements before we're allowed to take a class ourselves. The same as a doctor. Why don't they? The number of years in business is perhaps more highly valued than extravagant claims like Sydney's most successful registered migration agent. In fact, a lot of my background is in working with professional organizations, professional bodies, and for many years, professions, doctors, lawyers, accountants, engineers, architects, weren't allowed to advertise their services. And the reason for that was that they all were qualified to the same standard, and that no professional could ever claim to be better than another similarly qualified person. Now, in recent times, in the last 20 years or so, public policy has evolved in the UK, in Canada, here in Australia, which do allow for professionals to advertise. But again, you're not supposed to make comparative comments against similarly qualified people. You would be best off to make claims about your experience, or better yet, your target market, the specialty that you choose to pursue. Well, that leads me into the next point, which is people are very much hungering for specific information. And they're looking for that increasingly online, particularly if you're dealing with younger applicants. They will absolutely be shopping by website. So that's one of the first marketing tools you'll want to have in your arsenal. As I mentioned before, your website should detail your experience, and case studies might be much more effective than broad claims. They're also looking for a consultation upfront, which is free. Now, I don't know if there are people here who charge for an initial consultation. I'm well aware that there are agents all over the country who do. What we heard from these particular clients is that if you charge for an initial consultation, you detract from that building of trust. And I'll get into that a little more in detail throughout here. But let me just begin by quoting from this person. I looked in the yellow pages. I tried an agent in Fairfield, but you come in and pay your money, but I couldn't get any answers out of him. I tried another agent and they were similar. My final agent would answer whatever questions you put to him. He even offered to explain why my wife had been rejected for the tourist visa before I'd even met him. So I thought, you know what you're talking about, so I hired him. He was very helpful, and the first consultation was for free. So one of the overarching lessons from this particular research study is that those RMAs which take the long view, and in the literature we call it the abundance theory, that if you give information away, people will hire you more quickly than if you charge them a fee to give them a little bit of information, because people suspect that you're holding something back. But if you're open and, as I say, giving with the information at the beginning, you're much more likely to establish that bond of trust, which will make them a loyal client. Now, people also said that the agents that they felt most comfortable with were the ones who began by active listening. That is, listening intently to what people were saying, certainly listening more than talking, and then repeating back in the form of questions various things that the person had said so that knew that their points were being conveyed properly. This person said, the first guy I went in to see, it cost me hundreds of dollars, and I still don't understand what he told me.